How to create a domestic wire. We are looking at the Cash Manager tab, and then we're looking at wires, the wire screen. Within the section, we can see rejected wires and submitted wires. If there were anything out there that had already been rejected or had already been submitted, we would see those listed in the appropriate areas within the screen. We'll go ahead and move forward with creating or submitting a new domestic wire. So we'll click that plus sign for domestic wire. And at this point, we can actually start building out our wire screen. We would choose our account name or our account that we're wanting to fund the wire from, and input the dollar amount of the wire. We would need to go ahead and choose a company. So the company setup is something that is used for the ACH side as well as the wire side. The company setup does have to happen to have either piece of information, and that again is found under the Cash Manager tab, company setup all the way to the far right, and that is another recording video. So if you are looking at this and you do not have a company in this drop down, you would have to go through that company setup and would need to refer to that company, how to add a company recording that's already taken place. So at this point, you can scroll through the screen, and the fields that are required, they are marked with an asterisk. So we could move through and key in the information as it is required for the wire that we're inputting, whatever type of wire instructions we may have. We can go ahead and key those in appropriately. We do have account type, checking your savings, and again, just continue to move through the information as far as what you'd like to provide. We can move through intermediary bank if need be. If we needed to add that information, we certainly could key that information in this area. We can collapse that if that is not needed. We can move through the beneficiary financial institution. If that's something that we need to key in, if that's something we have wiring instructions for, we could key that information in here. If not, we can collapse that again. And then we do have to move to the scheduled information. So at this point, we can choose to schedule this wire now, or we can schedule this as a future dated wire where we can actually key in a date for this to process sometime in the future. As I move down the screen kind of to the bottom of the screen, we have the ability to submit the wire transfer. We also have the ability to check mark approve on submit. So if we are, if I were a customer that had the ability to create my own wire and approve it at the same time, if I had the functionality and permissions to be able to do both pieces of the creation and the approval, I could check mark this box, and when I click Submit Transfer, it's going to automatically submit the wire and approve it all in one step without having to go to an additional approval screen after we submit the wire. If this is something that I wanted to build out as a template so that I could use this ongoing on a regular basis, I could go ahead and add a template name and click Save Template. Tells me that the template has been saved. So in the instance that I wanted to maybe use a wire directly from a template that's already been set up, I could go to the Submit New Domestic Wire. I do still have to choose my account number, but at this point, instead of scrolling down the screen and filling everything in, I can go to choose a template. I can expand that drop down and just choose the template that is out there, and you'll see that it goes ahead and it does pre-fill the company name for me, the dollar amount, the recipient information from my wiring instructions that I may have already keyed in, any other fields that I may have included in intermediary bank or beneficiary financial institution, all of that would also be included. At this point, I would just move down to the scheduled area, and I would go ahead and just click Submit Transfer. Again, if I check mark Approve on Submit, it's going to approve it all in one step, but we would do Submit Transfer. And at this point, we are able to see the wire that has been scheduled and submitted. You'll notice that the status does say unapproved. If I wanted to change this for any reason, I can edit that, or I can click Details to see the expanded details of the wire to open that wire screen back up. If for some reason I accidentally scheduled this and I needed to remove this, I could just check mark beside the wire and click Delete Selected Wires. That would remove it from the listing for me.